Call the meeting to order of the Davidson County Board of Commissioners. Today is Thursday, February the 6th. Thank you for coming. Mr. Crotts will be with us shortly. Therefore, I'd like to call on Mr. Shell if he will do the invocation and the pledge in his place. Thank you, dear.
Madam Chair, let me turn my volume down, because sure as the world, I'm gonna get insurance.
From Jesus.
My insurance on my car's run out.
Thank you for reminding me, Commissioner.
Okay, those who'd like to join me. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for the rain that when our tables are low and the droughts are here, you always make provisions for us, Father, and we give thanks for that. We thank you for the folks who are here this morning, and we ask for your wisdom, your strength, and your guidance as we move forward in conducting the people's business. And we ask, Father, that we make decisions that would enhance the lives of our citizens. We thank you again, Father, for it is in his precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to recognize, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, I'd like to recognize the ABC Board that's going to be with us today, and department heads, thank you for coming and being with us today. If there's anyone here that would like to register for public address, you may do that at the front. Fellow commissioners, are there any changes for the agenda?
Hear none, Madam Chair, I make a motion we approve the agenda.
And I have a second. Please cast your vote. Is there anyone registered for public address?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Madam Chair, the motion for adoption of the agenda is approved by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. All right. For decision and information today, I'll ask the ABC board members to come forward to make their report. If you'd like to introduce everyone.
Yes, I'll reintroduce the board.
Okay.
I'm Kenny Meredith, got Lori Clements, we got Sherry Piotti,
Yeah.
and we're proud to have with us our general manager, Eric Sparks.
Thank you for being with us today.
And, we are pleased to be here and appreciate the opportunity to give y'all an update.
Thank you.
I think y'all have heard through the grapevine the success we've had up there. We started from nothing, and looking back on it, it's almost amazing that it came together like it did. But I think y'all appointed the board in June or July of 18. We went through the process of location, dealing with banks, all the stuff that you gotta have to open up a retail store. The state tells you what to do and what not to do, but they don't tell you how to get from nothing to something. And we met quite often, and we certainly, I think, we have a kinship from going through this process and a camaraderie, and it's a pleasure to work with these two ladies. And now that Eric's on board, he's part of the team. The other part of the team is Debbie Harris. She's been with us every step of the way, and we appreciate y'all sharing her with us. And while we were going through the legalities of it, Mr. Fry, I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to work with him. But we opened up August 1st of this past year. Our first year projection, first 12 months, we expect to hope to do $1.25 million in sales. As of the end of January, we've done $1.35 million. So in 6 months, we've exceeded what we thought we would do in the first 12 months. And I got to tell you, that is that's a relief to see what we did. And people still don't know we're there. So I don't know where the top limit is, but we're still growing every month. But we ended up, in startup cost to get the store ready, all the point of sale information, security systems, insurance, and, all the other ancillary things you gotta have. We spent about, $150,000, I guess, in getting the store opened up. That's remodeling the store, fixtures, like I say, the point of sale. And, we started off with about $140,000 in inventory. The bank, just on a promise, no security, loaned us $300,000 on a fixed term loan, and then gave us a $150,000 credit line. So, we came in just under the $300,000 in the fixed loan, including our initial inventory. And I guess our inventory has grown to an average of about $250 now, bumps between $200 and $250. We're turning that inventory almost one time a month, which in the retail business, Mr. McClure, you've been in retail, that is, that's remarkable.
7 turns are considered real good.
Yeah, annually. So, that is not, because of me, or because of Sherry, or because of, Lori. That is because of Mr. Sparks back here behind us. He comes in with experience, and we are pleased to have him. And we're honored that you gave us this opportunity to start this. I think, at the grand opening, I've done some research. I think, there have been no legal sale of distilled spirits in Davidson County, not the municipalities, since 1908. So, 111 years since alcohol had been sold legally in Davidson County. So, I'm sure there was a lot of some non-taxed alcohol that was sold.
Well, legally was the.
Yeah, that's the key, that's the key. But, I'm gonna let Mr. Sparks sort of tell you about, and you gals, anything you wanna add?
Come on, y'all not speechless this morning, are you?
It looks like to me that it's been self-sufficient from day one. You hadn't even had to go into the, fixed loan. Is that correct?
Well, we funded the fixed loan, and then the line of credit we have not had to touch.
Line of credit.
And we're operating just through cash flow. And the other thing, we appreciate you guys' cooperation in leasing the property and subleasing it to us. That has helped a lot. Our focus is to pay down that debt, Mr. Shell.
Kenny, I do have one question myself.
Yes, sir.
You've been successful, it's improving each month, it looks like. Have you had to add new, employees or anything, or?
Well, I'm gonna let Mr. Sparks speak to that.
Okay.
He's got a, good, stable group of employees, and they are really team players. The other thing, Mr. Casey, I think through sales tax through at least through the end of December, sales tax and the, what is it, bottle tax? The county's brought in about $30,000 from just our sales. So, that's a big step in 6
So
months.
just the 2% sales tax?
2.25%, and then the bottle tax for the penny and the nickel for the bottle.
Yeah. So, it's starting to come back in, and then, once we get debt paid down, we're gonna be giving you a check, a lot more substantial than what we have thus far.
I like that.
I bet you do. I do too. We do too.
We do.
You know, they let you operate on 24% markup. And you've heard through the news in Raleigh about privatizing, ABC stores and what have you. I don't know if that'll ever happen. The state seems to be addicted to alcohol and the revenue that alcohol produces, and I don't know how they could undo that addiction. So, anyway. But, let me give it to Mr. Sparks and
First, I'd like to say thanks to everybody for having us here. I'd also like to say thanks to the board for all the support that they've given us, and thanks to Debbie for always being an email away, as I said. Since the store started, we've had a great reception from the community. People come in, they're happy with the store, they, seem to enjoy the selection, the variety, the cleanliness of the store. We have a good working relationship, with the neighboring businesses in the strip mall. We try to communicate with them and help them in any way we can. We've started an email list where we distribute bourbons, on Saturday mornings, and so, for instance, it's the second and fourth Fridays we get trucks, so twice a month on Saturday mornings, you might see a line of 50 to 75 people outside of our door, which has caused some questions from some of the other businesses around, but it's really exciting to see the response from the local community, from people who even live further away who will drive. And there's been some mornings we did $7,500 in a matter of 20 minutes with the bourbon email list. And so I just want to once again say thanks to everybody.
Eric, do you know if Food Line has had to hire any more employees since the shopping center?
I do not know that, yeah. And I didn't speak on employees. We started with 6. We lost one very early because she found a full-time job. She was part-time, and since then we've not lost any employees. We've actually added one this week, so our full staff is at 7, including me now.
Well, the answer is yes, they've had to hire.
Okay.
And I thought maybe you would know that, but, and Food Line sales is the highest, grossing food line in Davidson County now because of that store.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just your store and what you're bringing to Davidson County, but bringing shoppers from Forsyth County into Davidson County has increased that shopping center, and had a lot of improvements to that entire mall.
Yeah, we constantly, at least once a day, a few times a day, hear people who are coming from Clemensville, Kernersville, stuff like that because of the selection.
I was in the store on a Saturday, and this is when we did our barrel release, and there was a gentleman from Greensboro, and I just struck up a conversation with him, and he had his buggy full. He said, "I'm probably gonna have to get a permit to get all this home." So we're glad that people from other counties and cities are supporting our store. It's great.
Right.
Can you tell us about the barrel release?
Yeah, the barrel release we bought a barrel of Peerless Kentucky bourbon. It was a single barrel, so it was made or aged strictly for our store. So you would only be able to find it there. It's even got a tag that says only for Davidson County. By buying the barrel, we got 198 bottles total. I think it was about 4 weeks ago?
4 weeks.
Yeah, and we're down to about 90 bottles. So we've recouped our cost on the investment, and we still have something there that's strictly available at our store.
How much was
that particular bottle, a fifth, I guess?
Yeah, it's $69.95.
Yeah, $70.
$70.
Wow.
Wow.
It takes a special liquor buyer to invest that kind of money in.
It does.
So we're pleased with the sale of the barrel.
Plus you can only you have to buy a barrel to sell it in North Carolina right now.
Yeah.
So we're one of only 3 stores in the state that actually sells it.
That's pretty awesome. Now, the state, y'all can't advertise, right? Or you can't advertise, so.
And that's one thing, speaking on Kenny's point, as far as we don't know what the ceiling is. You know, looking at December was an amazing month, but next December, you know, the word of mouth will get out more, so.
We're also, I was telling Mr. True, maybe Mr. Shell before the meeting, all that money that has been going into Forsyth County all these years, that money's turning around and coming. We're getting a lot of business out of southern Forsyth County, I think. And thanks to Eric, our product mix is a lot better than what they have in Forsyth County. Of course, they're operating 14 locations.
Right.
And they can't have everything like Eric has been able to do. We get trucks every 2 weeks.
Essentially.
Every other Friday, basically.
Yeah.
And, I guess our biggest truck has been, what, about 150,000?
Yeah, as far as cost, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
How much restaurant sales do y'all get there?
Like for instance, last month we did about $7,000.
7,000 in restaurant sales, so it's not real big up.
Not real big yet, but looking at the area, I could see that could change.
Right, the
And
potential's there as soon as they start building restaurants and.
Well, I know y'all have, Max Burger, but if y'all went around and got all the other,
Yeah, we even do with like Shug's Bar, which is in the south, kinda near the lake.
okay.
We've got, I think it's 6 or 7,
They have to buy from you if they in the
if
county.
they're not in the city limits of Lexington or
Okay.
Thomasville, essentially.
They have to buy from you.
Yeah.
They maybe have to drive through the city limits to.
I got you, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Now, my understanding, if they in the city, and if the city will release them, they can buy from the county as well, right? So,
They could, at the
but it's
board.
probably pretty hard to get one of the municipalities to release you, I guess.
But also thanks to the Durango that you all let them buy for $1,
Yeah.
they're able to do some
We
We
delivery.
deliver down to, to those bars, if they'll order $300 or more, we give
Have
them.
we got them to release the steakhouse yet? Are you? Okay. Be glad to buy from the county.
Maybe a tough sell,
Yeah, I'm sure.
get them to release it, but.
Well, thank y'all very much, and we look forward
Thank you
to.
all for what you did.
Thank y'all.
From start to finish, I think you've done an outstanding study and job on it, yeah.
We talked about it amongst ourselves, sort of like birthing a baby. And when Eric came on in June of last year, came on part-time mid-June, it's sort of been an emotional thing to turn everything over to Eric, but we're there now, and Eric's proved himself.
I used the word
So-
finish, I meant to say present, start to present. I think you've done that.
There you go, thank you.
I got a question, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Does the girls double team you or what? I mean, do they? Okay, so, but, is he scared, is he scared of y'all? Is he scared of
You know,
y'all?
there's times where I have been a little bit, concerned, but, no, it's a great team and.
I know it is, y'all have done good, and.
It's a
that's-
family-type atmosphere up there, so, thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Thank you.
We're proud of you, thank you.
I'd like to call Mr. Cornman. He's going to provide us with direction, about filling an upcoming vacancy on the planning board.
Sure. As you know, we have 5-member planning board and there's, staggered terms. You recently received a, letter of resignation from David Craver. He'd been serving on the board for about 10 years. He's from out in the Reeds. He's a local surveyor, but he's done a great job for us over the last 10 years. So therefore, we have to replace him. And you have, an option of maybe, bringing the one alternate that we have, Miss Rain Brown. She's been doing a great job for us. She's been attending the meetings and doing her homework, and over the last, couple of years, she's been, going to all the sites and trying to learn. And, we also have, 2 other, folks who have expressed an interest in serving as well. One is a young man, Wes Kimbrell. He is a professional engineer, civil engineer. He's not a surveyor, but, he does, a lot of work, with subdivisions because he looks at the erosion control plans and does a lot of the, sewer, engineering on those, projects. He was employed with the city of Lexington, but he now works for the village of Clemens up in the northwestern part, but he does live out in the West Davidson area. And then you also recently received an application from Jim Myers, who was former city council, but he had served on the city planning board for a number of years as well. He lives in Lexington, but he also owns property out in the county as well. So what I would recommend to the board, if you wanted my recommendation, would you like to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear
Yes.
your recommendation.
Okay. I would, I guess, recommend putting Ms. Brown on the board as a regular member, and then appoint both Mr. Kimbrell and Mr. Myers as alternates. And then that way, we'll have a full complement of folks. You know, if we need them, they can continue to come to the meetings and learn. And then if we need, if one of the regular, voting members are not present, then they can maybe alternate as to which one would sit as the voting member at that particular meeting.
Guy, would you designate those as alternate one and alternate two? Who would be the primary alternate, or
Well,
is that necessary?
That's not really necessary. What I think we would probably do is just let them alternate one time. If one was the voting member, then it would be the next other person.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But it'll depend, I guess, on their schedules and abilities to be able to be present at the meeting.
I have a question.
I'm sorry,
Go-
Ms. Chair.
Okay.
I'm glad we can, take both of them, because they're both really good candidates.
Yes, they are.
They
We have
are.
a really good board over the last several years. They seem to work well together.
The other four members, how long have do you know how long each one of those have been
Well,
on
we
the
have
board?
one actually coming up for reappointment in
Okay.
March. Joe Hayworth, if you'll recall, he was appointed just to fulfill the unexpired term that when John Hedgecock stepped down. So he's been serving about a year, I believe.
He's the last one we appointed there, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
Got a question for you, Guy. What does the board members, make?
$45.
You know, that's something, I'd like for staff to look into, to see what some of these boards, we're paying some of these boards. To me, $45 is not enough. How long's it been $45?
It's been like that for, probably about, maybe 15 years, but I did look at that. I looked at it during the budget, and surprisingly, we're still right there about where most counties,
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, and like I was telling somebody the other day, I feel like, you know, the same thing goes for us as goes for the state. We just talked about in our facilities meeting the other day that the state gives us $40 per inmate, and they've been giving us $40 for a long time. Well, that's not enough money, you know? So even though it's the way it's been and the way it is, you know, these people, they gotta go look at the properties, if they do it right. There's a lot of work in it for $45, you know? I mean,
right.
and I don't really care what the other counties are doing. I'm just saying, and I don't know what the money is. I know they're not gonna get rich doing this, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
More than that on gas.
Right.
Amen.
Do we pay them mileage? I'm sure nobody turns it in, but do we pay them mileage if they go out and look at a piece of property?
that's what the $45
$5
is meant
is
to try to cover any expenses.
Madam Clerk, Chairman, I'd like to ask him, a suggestion. You know, each time you have a vacancy, whether it's a resignation or retirement or whatever on the board, you seek, applications. Why don't we just always, your rules and regulations, why don't you put the alternate in the place of the vacancy, and then we'd always vote on an alternate here, is all we'd have to do.
Well, it's, the way that it reads, it's, you know, it's, the board's wishes, so,
Well,
I've
I
always.
know that, that's what I'm saying, why couldn't we change that and just, we could vote on an alternate each time? If a vacancy, the alternate automatically takes it. Because I've seen times that we weren't quite sure what to do.
Mhm.
We have 2 or 3 applications here, and we even have an alternate. And it would be so simple if the alternate takes the vacancy each time, because they've been there, they know more about it than most applications. But I mean, that was just something
Well, I think it's an excellent point, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the board's already voted on it, because they didn't come an alternate until the board voted on
Right.
an alternate.
Right.
And so it would give the leadway, unless something came up that you didn't know when that person was appointed, that doesn't really qualify them or make him a good member for the board, a good fit for the board. That's something we.
Only problem with that is, if you got 2 alternates.
2 alternates.
So like I said, if you have 1 and 2 though.
1 and 2.
If you got 2 alternates, then somebody's gotta pick them.
That's what I was about to, yeah.
That's what I was asking. You're correct about the designation of alternate 1, alternate 2.
I think that, your recommendation carries a lot of weight, the fact that how that alternate has performed, have they
Yes,
been to the meetings, have they actually gone out and inspected the property?
Yes, sir.
And, I know I've talked with you before, and you said Miss Brown was doing an excellent job. And that's what we want on the planning board, is somebody that does have the interest in it. And, you know, nothing to say about the two alternates, but, maybe they're just applying to have something to do. And there's a whole lot of difference in having your heart in a job and
Well,
just getting there to have something to do.
Yeah, what we do is, you know, when they do apply for it, we talk to them and make sure they fully understand, you know, what they're gonna be working with and what their, responsibilities are and so forth. So I've tried to make it clear to them, you know, that, they'll be expected to do their homework, so to speak, and,
We're there to fill we're not there to fill a seat, we're there to fill a position.
yes.
In saying that, if, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
In saying that, do we wanna select one of these as an alternate and, you know, take that procedure on, and then we know that whoever we select as an alternate would be the next in line to get this position? In saying that, it would be my personal recommendation that Mr. Kimbrell would be that, because you never know. Mr. Myers is heavily involved in Lexington city politics, and if he was to get a council seat or something like that again, maybe in the future, it might, I don't know, interfere with, maybe if he wants to be on the city planning board or something. That's just my opinion, but, I like Mr. Myers. I think a lot of him. I think he would do a tremendous job. But I like Mr. Kimbrell too, but that's just my opinion.
Madam Chair, I don't think it hurts a bit to have two people that want to be alternates, to have them on there. One of them may get sick and can't make the meetings, and that way we always have somebody to stand in and make the meetings. I don't have an issue at all with having the two alternates. And as you said, just have them alternate on the meetings, and that's something that your department would have to keep up with.
Yes, sir.
And that way it gives you a way to measure each one of them's abilities.
And one of them may decide after they do it for a while as an alternate that they ain't.
They're
just
not
cut out
interested,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve, the replacement as prescribed by our Director Guy Corman.
Do I have a second?
That would be Rain to be move up, and then Wes and Jim, if you feel like you need those two alternates, you're in a better position than we are actually to see what you folks actually have to do.
Yeah, that way we can pretty much assure that we'll always have a 5-0 vote present, so that, cause each application's important, and I do like to have a full board.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
You
Have
want
a-
this clicker or verbal?
This on the clicker?
I hear you,
Hey.
the clicker's working good now.
I do have a question.
consent?
When you said that the $45 was,
Chairman gets 60.
okay, but you said the $45 and the $60 was about where we are, and what are the surrounding counties? I know a lot of time we look
Some
at
of 'em are
counties that are
30,
4 or 5 off.
Some of them don't even pay their, planning board. They just think that they're stepping it up and then, you know, doing it as a volunteer. But 45's about the top.
The top.
And I ain't saying you gotta go up a lot, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, good people, we pay our ABC board a little bit more than, well, I don't know, more than some, but, you know, they've done an excellent job. And I understand the ABC board brings in money, but so does the planning and zoning board. I mean, you know, they gotta make good decisions, and, you know, I would just like for our staff to kinda look at maybe all the boards. I ain't saying just the planning and zoning, I'm saying any boards that we have, just to look and see kinda what we're paying them, to make it worth their while to, you know, at least buy them a tank of gas and supper or something if they gotta come to a meal, you know, and go look at the properties or whatever. So, what does the board say?
Commissioner Yates, I'd like to speak to that. I agree with you, because if you really wanna acquire really good talented folks, and like Brother Shell said, if that doesn't cover a tank of gas, you know what I'm saying? For the amount of them going out and looking at the properties, then coming back and meeting with the folks involved, $40, it doesn't go a long way in a tank of gas now, so, I agree.
45, don't show the sign.
45, okay.
Well, why don't we,
I think that what,
Is that something that just needs to be directed to, Mr. Smith as?
Yeah, we can take care of it and, give us a little time. We can put it on a future information meeting or something of that nature.
Okay.
Or better yet, we probably can just send it out. You guys can take a look at it and it starts to generate questions and we can start to figure out how much.
I just say bring it to our information.
See if we're off.
Mhm.
You know, let's get them all on a piece of paper and see how far off we
Yeah,
are.
I think that's a good idea. Take a look at it.
Informational meeting, and like I say, you know, you can compare to other counties, but I don't really care about that. I mean, if we paying somebody $20 for a meeting, I know in today's time, $20 just ain't enough money, you know?
Madam
I would only use it just to figure out kind of a proxy of what to pay, you know, so I don't have to just kind of guess at it. If I know some other county's paying 20 and I'm doing 45, then we can talk about that. But if it's 45 and some other county's doing 65.
I mean, you can look at it, but I'm saying to me, that don't even come to play, because, I mean, I try to look at what's fair to pay somebody for their time and services. It don't matter to me what, you know, somebody else is paying, well, someone's paying nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you think that's fair, you know, then.
And obviously they do, or they wouldn't do it.
We do have a large county, so it takes you half a day.
Big county.
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, trust me, we know, there's several of us putting out signs right now.
Madam
We know
Chair,
how big it
and Madam Clerk, are we putting this on, moving to put this on consent agenda for the next meeting?
hadn't
Or
been
is
no
this
motion.
approved today for you?
Hadn't been no motion, it was.
What's that now? You talking about?
I thought we voted on it.
The motion that I made is to
I've not
put it
got all
on
the
the
votes in
consent
yet, but the
Oh,
motion was to
okay,
approve
yeah.
it. So it was,
I'll second
once you all
Fred's
do it.
thing.
Okay, I think I've got, you made the motion, Commissioner McClure made the second, now I just need everyone to vote.
I already voted.
One other
Oh, we
question
voted.
for the
I
thought we
staff.
did.
I'm missing a couple.
Oh, okay.
One other question for the staff.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute, I didn't make the
Hold on.
motion.
Okay.
As y'all are making this study, one of the things to look at is how many boards do we pay money to? And when was the last time they received any kickbacks? Because we don't wanna set the situation where we raise one and we don't look at all the boards that we have.
And I've
I know
always,
the planning board has to do more traveling than a lot of the other boards.
yeah, and we have the Board of Adjustment too that we work with, so I always look at those together.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see every board looked at, so we'll just know. And so was this motion to approve?
It was the motion to approve
the
Mr.
consent.
Foreman's recommendation that Rain Brown be moved into a permanent seat and that Wes Kimbrell and Jim Myers both be put into alternate seats.
Okay, and you got what?
I've got a motion and a second. I'm missing votes from Commissioner Elliott and Commissioner McClure and Commissioner Troll.
Done.
Honesty.
well, I thought I'd done voted.
Must have not taken.
Don, you get to vote twice.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
This was
help.
to approve it or put it on the consent?
Consent agenda.
No, approve, yeah, that's what I thought it was, to approve.
Yeah. Well, if we have nothing further, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I know, that's fine.